All right, my friends, I am not an amazing foot model. I know you may be thinking so, but here's the reality. Plantar fasciitis is not fun, and you may be dealing with it or know someone who is, so stick around for all the tips. We're going to walk through this entire video on this entire thing. But I dealt with plantar fasciitis myself for almost a year, and then finally, once I put a few of these things into place, after trying a myriad of other things, got rid of it completely in about 21 days, which is amazing, so that could be you. The first thing is talking about shoes, right? We tend to think like, oh, it's a nice quality, high quality shoe. It's got a good arch support. Nope, this is the inside of the shoe. There is no arch support in any, right, type of athletic shoe that I'm aware of to date, unless it's specifically designed for that and it's got something built in. So you're going to have to get some type of arch support within there. Something like a brand like Superfeet, I'm not endorsed by anybody, it's just a brand that I've used myself in the past, works really well, but you can get a variety of stuff or talk to a podiatrist within that. But I definitely recommend getting some kind of rigid arch support, especially if you have a high arch like myself, where you need to support that arch. Now that brings me to the second piece of this, which is your morning routine. Now you may be thinking, oh, in the morning I do my stretches, I do a little massage ball or ice, these different types of things. Great. But the first thing that matters most is once you have that shoe that has that arch support, or maybe you've got a pair of sandals that has that giant arch built into it, before you even step out of bed, you've got to put those on. That was the biggest caveat for change for me more than anything else. Had nice carpet in the bedroom, would step out, and that arch would still basically re-tear that plantar fascia, and I would just be starting all the way over again. So before it's warmed up, you got to warm it up. So I need you to put those on immediately, first thing in the morning, step into that pair of sandals. And that includes your morning shower. Because by the time you're like up and doing your morning shower, whether it's 5 minutes in or an hour into your routine, you're thinking like, oh, I'm warmed up, I'm good to go. Chances are you probably aren't as good as you think. So get a pair of those sandals so you can be in the shower with them. That's huge, all right? So when we're thinking about this, we're really using the acronym REST. RICE. I can talk, I swear. But we're using RICE, which is rest, ice, compression, or elevation, right? So I want you to think about, what do I need? Do I need to rest it? Am I running too much? Am I working out too much on it, right? Do I need to ice it? Probably something you should do every day for the inflammation that's happening in there. Do I need compression? Do I need some restriction that's helping to hold that and create that compression that is needed? Or do I need to elevate, just kick up off, right? That's usually the case with most of those things. So that brings me to the second part, which is massage. Myriad of tools that we get to use. For most people, a lacrosse ball works really well, or just taking a water bottle or even a can, completely freezing it, and then you're going to roll that arch. So I know this is nothing new if you're dealing with plantar fasciitis. You're probably well used to doing these types of drills, whether you're hitting that arch or even hitting along the outside, and even the heel can be really good. A frozen water bottle though, or can, is going to get you the ice effect simultaneously. Always a good thing, okay? So daily massaging through there can be great. Now, if you want to turn it up a notch, one of my favorite tools is the Hypervolt. There's several different brands and versions of this. It is a decent investment, but you're going to get a basically action here. You can hear it, right? And if we can massage deep down in, right, all the way through that plantar fascia, and I'm pulling my toes back just to make extra pressure through that plantar fascia, it works extremely well. Now, the other area that I want you to really focus on hitting is your entire calf and Achilles, right? So by rolling that either with a stick or a gun or even a ball, it's all attached. It's all coming down in. And so we may need to hit that entire calf, right, and rolling all the way down into the Achilles to make sure we are getting everything as loose as possible, which is why you'll do some Achilles stretches you're probably very familiar with, right? So spend some time on that. It doesn't have to be with a massage gun if you don't have one. It can also just be with a stick or even a foam roller. But loosening up the calves is really important. If you're a person that's highly stressed out, maybe a more anxious person, it's more than likely that you stand and actually lean forward without even realizing it. You carry your body in this forward position. You're putting a lot of stress on your Achilles and your calves. You're in a constant state of having those calves turned on. Well, that's pulling on that quite a bit. So what I want you to do is roll those out. On the other side, we're going to hit anterior tibialis. Comes to the outside of the knee, comes all the way down that shin, around, and actually does attach right to that part of your calf, that to the inside of your arch there. And so if we can roll that outside as well, we're going to help quite a bit. So once you've done some rolling on it, I want you to actively pull your toes up and roll it even more. And if you're really feeling your plantar fasciitis, you'll feel that stretch in a really positive way. It'll feel really good to pull your toes up as you're putting pressure down on it, because basically you're tightening up and getting that release. All right? So hitting those drills is absolutely critical. Now, once you've done all those things to loosen it up, what we want to start going with is some stretches as well as some drills to strengthen everything. So whether you're using a band or you're using a towel, right? It can be a thicker towel, absolutely fine. But make sure you're pulling up, you're getting that Achilles stretch, right? You're getting it going. And then start flexing the toes back, forth, just up, down. Makes a huge difference. You'll feel through that arch, getting everything going. And then once you've done that for about 15 reps, I want you to rotate over. So that anterior tibialis that we just massaged out, now we're basically cocking the foot to the side, unless you've had some ankle sprains and this doesn't feel good. I do understand, right? But you're going to get that nice stretch on the outside, often missed quite heavily, and you're just torquing up on it. A towel works really well with this. With a towel, you may have to almost wrap around because it's not going to have the same resistance that a band would, and create that twist, okay? Once you've done those stretches, then I want to encourage you to start working some strength drills where you're going to, hey, Rainbow wanted to come say hi. He's just super excited about it, or he just wants to go play with the lacrosse ball we were trying to massage with. He's out of the picture now, all right? So what we want to do is just try and actively pull that towel. So I'm even going to tuck up underneath. If you're on a slick surface, it's going to work way better. I can't even pull it on the rubber floor here. But if you're on like a wood floor or tile, you're just trying to pull that with your toes. Another drill can be picking up the marble, right? So if you have a little marble that you can put on the floor, or even any kind of towel you can scrunch up, we're just looking to move it or pick it up with our toes, and we're activating, we're strengthening through, oh, there goes Rainbow. He's back there running like a crazy man, right? Pulling through that arch and activating everything. Last thing you want to do is stretch the Achilles by standing. So with that, you're going to lean against something. You're just driving that heel in and pushing back. So this can be up against a wall, this can be up against a pole, or even just grabbing the back of a chair. So there you have it. I know it's a long list, but let's repeat. It's all about getting the rice. Rest it as you need it. Ice it, if you can, with a frozen water bottle while you're massaging it. Compression, and then some elevation. You definitely want to make sure you're massaging not only the arch and getting that plantar fascia, but as well as your calf and your anterior tibialis. Once you've done that, you're going to get some stretches of your calf, whether from here, whether from standing. Get the toes activated, and then start building back that strength. But what was the very first thing I said? The most important piece for me, getting some arch support, stepping into it first thing in the morning, and even making sure you're wearing that arch support in the shower when you really don't want to. So there's the whole list there for plantar fasciitis. So get after these things, and if we put these in every day, I'm betting 20, 21 days, right around that time, you're going to be feeling so, so good. Coach Joseph, peace be the journey. I'm out.